Okay, so a quick tour of the boat. This boat is 57 feet long and 6 feet 10 inches wide. Let's see. So you steer, pilot, whatever, from back here, as you can guess. It's fairly easy to do. This comes off the tiller arm. I don't know what it's called, tiller extension. But for the most part, we just leave it on. There's 3 ways, or at least 3 ways, that you typically tie up. One, you can use these piling pins or piling hooks, which kind of go in between. You can see down there. They go in between the piece of metal, and then they just kind of catch there, and then you put the rope around it or the line around it, whatever, and tie up. Or there are pins. You can see these metal spikes basically that you put into dirt, hammer them in. Or there are mooring rings that you would put the line through, just basically metal rings that are whatever in the ground. So obviously forward and backwards. Every night we're supposed to check every morning we're supposed to check the oil and coolant level. And then under here, there's a little valve that you turn that basically injects oil into the, it doesn't matter, but it basically keeps things from leaking when you're stopped at night. Yeah, here is the boat. I guess I should say up top, typically you always have the center line on the side with the towpath. This thing is the towpath. And that's so that when you're pulling up to the side, you can jump off really quickly, grab the center line to control the boat. Yeah, it's pretty easy, honestly. This thing opens and closes, and at night when you're going to bed or whatever, you close these doors, or you can keep them open. I should have done that before I started, but yeah, there's pegs that you can basically put in to hold them in place. This is the controls for starting the engine and all this kind of stuff. Various things for accessing water points, which I'll mention really briefly. Like every 2 days, or ideally every day if you can, you fill up with water. In front there's a hose that you can use to fill it up from a water point, and then all the water is potable, drinkable apparently. Yeah, this is the space. Obviously, I guess you can see we have our bags and stuff down here. Clothes and things are hung up in here. Clothes in here. That should not be there. The bed is pretty comfortable, I'd say. There's, lights. These are all just turned on manually. There's a 240 volt outlet here. Although I don't think you'll get much power out of it unless the boat's running. Yeah, bed, pretty comfortable for 2 people. There's heat, which there's 3 gas bottles up front that basically provide the hot water and then also radiant heat. So that's all plumbed through. The bathroom is actually surprisingly comfortable. There's a toilet. It's you press down and it just basically empties it into a black water tank or whatever. Or if you pull it up, you can fill the bowl up with water. Yeah, obviously a sink, hot water and cold water, and a shower, which looks kind of gross. It doesn't look so gross in person. Yeah, it's very small. And just like to give you an idea, I'm 6 feet tall. I don't know if you can really tell, but there's actually quite a bit of space. I bet if you were 6'2", 6'3", you could stand fairly comfortably in the middle here. Anyway, you take really short showers just because you don't have that much water. Here is the galley / kitchen. yeah, it's actually, once again, shockingly nice and large and well equipped. There's even like an oven. Obviously you've got the stove, gas, and fridge, which is always running, so no problem with like keeping stuff cold, milk and all that kind of stuff. Microwave, again, I think ideally you're running the boat when you're using this, but it does work even when the boat stopped. Yeah, garbage and all that kind of stuff. This boat came with everything you need, so came with like pans and knives and stirring stuff, and you could bake, you could do all sorts of stuff, basically everything you'd need in a normal kitchen. And then here of course is the little galley, or not galley, whatever it is, the living room area. So we've got like obviously a table, which is nice, and then we've got the stove. Obviously, I guess you don't really need me to tell you that's the stove. Yeah, this is quite comfortable to sit. The TV is here, which has actually been nice because the World Cup is on, so we've been watching the World Cup and getting in the spirit of it. So that's cool. And at night, these windows or doors or whatever they are shut, and you can, close them when you're leaving. So there's just like a pin that goes down to lock these closed. And then up front, not a whole lot to say besides there's a cleat for, again, tying up. So obviously you can see we've got one of these piling hooks there. This is where the gas bottles are if you need them or for whatever reason. Here's a view this way into the space. Horn, and yeah, the top of the boat. So yeah, overall everything's been incredibly comfortable, I'd say. The boat I think has absolutely everything you need. I don't know what it looks like in the video, probably not like much, but it's actually quite cozy, and I would say it feels very clean and comfortable. And yeah, just the kitchen is really outstanding. I mean, it really feels like you could, if you wanted, easily make, a 5-course meal or whatever with all the utensils, and there's can openers and obvious scissors and knife sharpeners and yeah, measuring cups and blah 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 blah. So cheese graters, everything you'd possibly need, I think, is here, which is nice. Yeah, so that's it. I guess for the most part, there is not much else to see, I guess. So I guess I'll stop the video here and end the tour.